we're not that many days out from the Norfolk Southern train derailment in East Palestine, and the aid that's been provided so far obviously not measuring up to the damage that's already been done, and the great fears about the long-term health effects to both humans as well as animals. The likelihood, by the way, I don't know if this has really been mentioned much, but if you live in that area, not only are you terrified about what effect it's going to have on you and your family and all of that, but also if that area is now contaminated by all of these chemicals, some of which we know about, some of which we don't. What about the people who own homes in that area? What happens to their property value if they try to sell? If that whole area is now considered effectively America's Chernobyl as a result of this train derailment. Anyway, there's lots of concerns going forward, and residents are now starting to organize to make sure that they are taken care of. Multiple class action lawsuits have already been filed against the train company, 4 suits across state and federal courts. Residents in these suits are arguing that the company's poor handling of hazardous materials like vinyl chloride was negligent. Not only that it was on the train in the first place, but that the train apparently, whatever the mechanical problems or the braking problems were, that's negligence too. Also, they did the intentional burn of it, and we don't even know if we know of all of the chemicals that were actually on it at this point. But in the end, close to 2,000 residents within a 2-mile radius were forced to evacuate. And thus far, the company has now put out their plan for what they're going to do going forward. But in terms of money, they've offered $25,000 to the town, and residents within 1 mile can get $1,000 convenience check from the company. Bear in mind, 2 miles worth of people were evacuated, but you have to be in that first mile to get $1,000 from the company. So Trey, we're obviously in the very early days of something that's going to play out legally for years, probably, let alone the long-term health impacts if those manifest. But what do you make of what's happening with the train derailment?
Oh, it's absolutely enraging. I mean, I'm from like a small town, and it just feels like this is the type. I mean, well, this is like a crazy, egregious example of it. But no one cares about people in places like this, and like big corporations especially don't. And the amounts that they've thrown out is like restitution. It seems like they decided on those like to deliberately insult these people. Like that's how it seems to be. It's like lining them all up and slapping them in the face, and then here, we'll give you $1,000 if you get down and kiss the ring and show us your gratitude. Maybe we'll consider doing it. It's like that's their attitude towards the whole thing that drives me insane. It's so out of touch and upsetting. And I know we got to go to a break, and I'm sure we'll talk about this more afterwards. So, but yeah, I really don't like it.
No, I don't either. And don't worry, but we got some flexibility. Like if this is something you're passionate about, feel free to let me know what you think. But yeah, the $25,000, like I don't know who advised the top brass that that's what they should offer, but yeah,
the whole town
not good at their job.
Well, it's like you're like, well, how much could a town like this be worth, really? And then they, then they're like, the type of people that lives in towns like this, like $1,000, that'll buy all sorts of Spam and Velveeta. They should be happy about it. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just so gross. Like, they know how money works. They know what money is worth. They know how nothing at all that amount of money is. And they also know everything you said about the long-term implications of this for these people. Like, dude, they're probably not ever gonna be able to go back, probably. Or if they do, who knows how long, or if they do, they get blessed with cancer and a third eye and whatever else over this stuff for like decades to come. It's like, I mean,
would you feel comfortable going back there? Like it would take a long time.
Of course not. And it's like the very least a massive corporation could do, because it is a small town. It's just like it's also just so short-sighted, because just take care of these people. It won't cost you that much in the grand scheme of things. Make an actual genuine effort, and maybe you won't come across as like a comically evil dystopian, technocratic overlord from some future comic book. You know what I mean? Which is what they're doing right now. It's like, it's just crazy to me. But it's literally only about the amount of money in versus the amount. And they're like, well, we're going to be out a lot of money already anyway, so we can't really afford to give any more to these people. And there's just so many other implications that never factor into it for them, which is why we have to regulate them heavily, because they will not ever do any of that themselves. You know, they had like Civil War era brake systems on these trains that they've been told they needed to change for forever, but they were like, well, that might be a little expensive, so they just didn't. And who knows what else? Like they don't care about you. You cannot trust them. They have to be forcibly controlled. Right?
I agree.
And the only entity that can do that is the government, whether people like it or not. Right. And
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you still believe at this point that companies will voluntarily self-regulate, voluntarily do the right thing, and you want to know how much their voluntary stuff is worth, it's worth $25,000. That's what it's worth.
Right, and not for nothing, but you know, the Republicans are the ones who preach all that, like small government, let them regulate themselves or whatever. And I don't know, I haven't looked into it, but I know that like the part of Ohio this is from is largely red and everything. And I just hope that people in other places like this take note of this. Like one side is the one who's enabling these companies to do stuff like this. And when they do it, if you think your heroes in the Republican Party are going to swoop in and do anything about it, you're wrong. They don't care. They also do not care about you. And this example, this story playing out, tragic as it is, illustrates that. And I don't know. I just hope more people take note going forward. Like this is the future that they want, that one side wants, and that the corporations want. Right here, this is what it looks like.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.